You guys ready? Okay, so let's go through this real quick. My name is Cynthia Martinez. I voice some people for ADV and now Sentai and Seraphim, and I think I've been with ADV for, I don't know, 16 years maybe. So the first cartoon show that I've ever voiced was Slayers, was Lena Inverse, and I have great stories about everything I've ever done, because it doesn't matter what I do and how prepared I am, I always screw it up, which is the most fun ever. So if you guys have questions, or if you want me to just tell you stories, I can do that. What do y'all want?
Stories.
She said stories. You have a question?
Yes, ma'am. You were in Panty Pony Dash as
Tommy, I believe it was.
Yeah, the little short girl.
Yeah.
What did you think of the series?
You know, she was kind of in and out, in and out. Every series that I'm in, I think I fall in love with the characters, and I think I've gotten typecast. Most of the producers kind of say, oh, this person reminds me of Cynthia. I mean, you know, she was always getting beat up on, like she was getting hit on the head a lot. I don't do that. Or maybe they do, I don't know. But, you know, it was and then they were quite, they did a lot of sports. I don't do sports. I can't play with anything or whatever, so that sounded bad. So yeah, I mean, I like the series. It's just, my character was kind of in and out a lot. You know, but she probably resembled me, I'm short. So I'm going to tell y'all real quick how I got started in anime. I saw an open call. It was a casting call for ADV, and I kind of really didn't think it was legit. I thought, okay, I'm going to go check it out, see what happens. Everybody always asks, how do you get into it? I had never acted before in my life. I was a vocalist, so I sang in different Latin bands. And so I went in, and somebody had said to me, you should go audition for cartoons because you sound like one. And I was thinking to myself, well, that was rude, but okay. You know, so I call ADV, and they scheduled me for a Sunday morning appointment, and I was thinking to myself, really, at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday? I drove up there, I sat in my car, and I was like, I'm not going in, I'm not going in, I'm not going in. And finally I was like, all right, I'll go in. So I walk in, and there's all of these anime posters and whatnot, and I was thinking to myself, what is this stuff? This was back in, 2000, probably in 98. So I walk in, and I'm seeing all these posters, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this stuff, right? So they give me this application. And it says name, so I'm like, all right, I got one of those, I'll write it down. Address, okay, I got that, I wrote it down. And I'm going down the line, and all of a sudden it says, attach your demo. And I'm like, what the crap? So I was like, here you go. I have nothing, all I had was my name, my address, you know, and that was it. They asked for a headshot, and I didn't have, you know, back then it wasn't like you could take a selfie, it was like, I need a headshot. So then I was like, all right, I just handed her my application with my name and my address and my phone number. And so they called me to the back, and Matt Greenfield was there, and I didn't know, you know, who he was or anything. I just kind of went in there, and he was like, stand in there, and this is what you're gonna do. He gives me a script, I start reading it, and in my head I'm thinking, is this for real? Like, is this for real? So anyhow, that was in February. And he never called me back. So I thought, whatever, I suck, I know, it's fine, and my feelings aren't hurt. And in April, he calls me and he says, I have something for you to audition for. So I walk back in, and it's Lena. I didn't know her. I had no clue who she was, or how big she was, or how amazing she was. I didn't know anything about her. I walked in, I auditioned, and you know, they called me back 2 weeks after, and he was like, you're doing this motion picture. Slayer's the motion picture. And I thought, okay, that's cool. Didn't Google her. I should have. Didn't Google her. Didn't Google Slayers. Didn't know anything about it. I walk in, and I am thinking the whole time, he picked the wrong person. This guy's going to realize this and kick me out of this booth. So I'm sitting there, drinking water, recording this little girl's voice. I'm talking, and all of a sudden Matt says, we're gonna take a break. because it's an 8-hour recording session. We're gonna take a break. If you wanna go to the restroom, you can. I have been drinking water for the last 4 hours. I really had to pee. But I was not leaving that room. Because I thought, if I walk out, he's not gonna let me back in. So, he was like, are you sure? And it's freezing, because they keep the studios really cold. So he's like, are you sure you don't have to go to the restroom? And he was like, okay, we're gonna go smoke. Be right back. I was like, okay. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, really gotta pee. But I was not leaving. So they come back in, we record another 2 hours, and Matt's like, okay, we're gonna take a break. You need to go to the restroom. I'm thinking, no freaking way, you're not kicking me out of this booth. And so they walk out. All right, I'm a vocalist, and it sounds really cool in there, so I thought I'm gonna sing Mariah Carey. I can't sing Mariah Carey. I didn't realize that everyone could hear me. No one told me that. They had left the speakers on. So I was sitting there singing Mariah Carey. I can't sing Mariah Carey. Try not to pee on myself. While I thought everyone was outside smoking, and they weren't. So anyhow, years later they come back and they're like, remember that one time? And I'm thinking, really guys? No one could say to me, hey, we can all hear you, and you suck. So anyhow, that was my day one recording at ADV. I just never left the booth because I thought if I did, they wouldn't let me back in, and those doors are heavy, and I'm little, so I was like, I'm not walking out of here. Later on, you know, Slayers, the movie came out, and I Googled it and saw all of these reviews, and then I thought, holy shit, this chick is huge. And then I started, you know, researching and trying to see what it was about Lena Inverse that was so amazing, and I figured it out. I mean, but it took me a while, you know. So that was my introduction to anime. That was my introduction to, oh, this is what this world is about. And now I get it. But it took me, you know, when I first started, I had no clue what I was doing. Just so y'all know, it's, you know, you can go into it like that, because I was lost. Y'all have questions? I have stories. No questions? No questions? Okay.
Who's your least favorite character?
Oh man, for real? The one that I don't voice so much. When I don't get to know a character, then I'm like, she sucks. I don't know that I have a least, okay. She is not my least favorite. She is just the one that caused me the most trauma. So, Puni Puni Poemi gave me nightmares for 3 weeks. And they weren't really nightmares. It was just dreams and fast forward. Like, they would move really fast, and I almost had to go to therapy. But, you know, I'm grateful for that show. Although it was banned in a country. So, but it's cool because now I can say I was banned in a country. I was banned in, where was it? In New Zealand. So I think that's cool to say that you're banned in a whole freaking country. My kids don't think so much, but it doesn't matter what they think. So when I got cast for Puni Poemi, it was cool because, you know, when you go into studio, you're signing in, you're signing out, you're signing in, you're signing out, and you don't really get to meet anybody. You don't get to meet a lot of the voice actors. And I was signing out, and Matt Greenfield comes out, and he was like, oh, hey, I've got a new show for you. The minute I saw her, I thought of you. And I was like, this is awesome. Like, he thought of me when he saw this character. This is cool. And so I go and I Google it, and the first thing I see says, you have to be on crack to watch this show. And I was like, wait, what? What does Matt Greenfield think of me? And so I went in, and you guys, if you saw Puni Puni Poemi, where she's sliding down the rainbow, and she's like, this is sort of kind of like my debut. It took me like 2 hours to record that, because I was like, she's nuts. wait, what? I have to do what? I don't know if I can do this. So it took me forever to just record that one part where she's like sliding down the rainbow. And I think at the time that I was recording her, I was recording Basso Syndrome and I was recording another show. And so pretty soon I really kind of felt like I was schizophrenic and I had all these personalities. And I would go in and the producers would say, I need Mint to come out today. And I was going, I don't know where she is. No clue. So when I recorded Puni Puni Puami, it was quite traumatic. She was a traumatic character for me, but she's cute. She's just a little spastic, and apparently she reminds Matt Greenfield of me. I'm not sure what to say about that. So that was she's not my least favorite, but she's clearly my most
disliked.
Challenging?
Challenging is a good word. Yeah, I like that one. She's challenging. Yes.
About Pony Pony Boy, I mean, how much did your voice like get hurt like from that performance, or did it like didn't have any?
It did get hurt. Yeah. You know, you don't realize it. Like you don't think about it as you're doing it because you're trying to give the audience and give the producers what they want, and you don't think, so you're just kind of talking. And that was the first time I think that I really hurt myself, and I had to go to an ENT. This was kind of cool, but not. So I had to go to an ENT, and she was like, we have to look down your throat. And I'm thinking, how are we gonna do that? And she was like, we're gonna stick a video recorder thing down your throat. And I'm like, how the crap is she gonna do that? But I didn't really want to know, but I did want to know because I thought it was cool, but not really because it's my throat. And so she says, I have this thing and we're gonna stick it in your mouth and it's gonna go down. And I'm thinking, yeah, no, no, it's not gonna happen. So she was like, okay, we're gonna spray this thing up your nose and it's gonna go up your nose and down your throat. And I'm thinking, shit, really? Is there a better way? Like, what the crap?
Pick your
so
poison.
finally I pondered it for a bit and I was like, if you stick it up my nose, you're gonna spray something to numb it. She was like, yes. If you stick it down my throat, are you gonna spray something to numb it? No. I was like, oh, forget that shit. Put it over, whatever, I'm good. So this was cool. So there's this TV in front of me and she puts in the little video and I'm watching everything as it goes. And I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Then I thought I could have been a doctor, but I don't like to study, so I can't. So anyhow, that I did hurt myself. I think it was after maybe the third day that I was like, this hurts, this is dumb. But I think I had that feeling, you know, when you have that sense of this is gonna be a really cool character. Like I have to do her justice, and so I didn't regret it, even though at the time I kept thinking, I have to sing this weekend. And I like this. So, you know, yeah, I'll admit the guys were a little nervous, but I think it was worth it. You know, I mean, I got banned in a country. I mean, come on. It's cool. Yes, sir.
You say you've been doing this for 16 years, and
yes.
You ever think about going from the booth to the control board and
yes, because I'm a hell of a lot more controlling than that. No, I do. I've been doing this, you know, like I said, I've been doing it for a while, and I do think I like giving direction more, and I just like the creative process of that. You know, I like to guide people and say, here, do this, here, do that. But living in Houston, even though we have the anime there, it's hard to get into that industry, and you have all these people, you know, vying for it, and it's just, it is very challenging, and it is very competitive. So I think I got lucky that I got in when I did. Now we have all of these people that have all this acting experience, and I'm thinking, holy cow, you know, I sit next to people like Chris and Greg and Lucy and Monica, and I'm thinking, you guys are, like, they have all of this background, you know, I just say I lie well because I can pretend. You want me to pretend to be something? I can pretend. But, you know, as far as the acting part, I was like, I've never been trained. But I have wanted to go behind the scenes. I mean, at this point, I'm writing a lot. So I'm working on a screenplay for a Latin Latin movie company, and I've worked on a couple of plays that I've written, and I do like that better.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like that better just because it gives me more of me, you know, where I can actually write it out. When you're acting, especially when you're voice acting, that person's already there, so you're having to mold yourself to fit that person, you know. So yeah, I do think about it, and I do want to do it eventually. Writing is probably my first love.
Is there a particular series that you've seen or have, or in the future that you would hope somebody would pick you for that particular project?
All of them. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? I don't know. I don't think that there is. What I've noticed is that the people at Sentai and Seraphim now, they know me well enough to where they'll just call me and say, hey, this person reminds me of you. And I like that. I like when they say that. It's just really easy for me to fit in. But I don't think I've seen anything where I'm like, I really want to do that. Had I seen Puni Puni Poemi, I wouldn't have, I would have been like, what the crap, really? Elfin Lied, when I did Elfin Lied, I wouldn't have picked her, you know, I wouldn't have picked Mayu, because even though she's such a beautiful soul to me, she's so tormented, and that was a really hard show for me to do. And I was watching it upstairs earlier because somebody brought something up for me to sign, and I thought, you know, I'm going to revisit that and I'm going to watch it, and I was like, that was stupid, why am I watching this again? And she was someone that usually, when you have roles like that, they'll tell you, this is what's going to happen, do you want to voice it? I have small children, so, well, they're not small anymore, but they were back then. So, you know, I don't know that I would have voiced her had I known. And, you know, there was that scene where her history comes out and her past comes out. I was getting ready to board a plane to Tulsa for a convention with Lucy Christian, and it was so funny because I was traumatized. And Lucy's in the car, and we're running late, and she's like, and we're running late, and I'm sitting here going, oh my God, you're not gonna believe what just happened to me, you know? And she's talking, I'm traumatized because of the dang show, and she's traumatized because I'm making her late to the airport, and we're running through the airport, and we finally sit down, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, this just happened to this poor girl, and I'm trying to talk about this, and then I realize that we're on this small propeller plane, and Lucy's freaking the fuck out. And she's like, oh my God, Sin, I cannot be on this plane. And I'm thinking, no, you don't understand. Mayu was just molested by her father. And Lucy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, you don't understand. And she was like, no, we are gonna die. And I was like, no, we're not. Because Mayu, and we're like on two different things. And I know she was like, what? But anyhow, we didn't die, but Mayu still got molested by her father, and I was like, what the fuck? So anyhow, that was you know, I wouldn't have chosen her, definitely, because I wouldn't have wanted to do that. I really wanted to voice Duck on Princess Tutu. I really wanted to. I mean, I'll admit it now. Fuck, I'm on tape. But
love the commentary.
You know, I did. I mean, I did kind of fall in love with that series and that show, and I thought it would be so cool to be Duck, but I wasn't, so it's okay. And it was fun because I voiced PK, Lucy voiced Duck, and you know, we are really good friends, and so that was kind of cool to play off of each other. I met Lucy actually voicing Poemi because she voiced Futaba. And I'd heard so much about Lucy Christian, and she hates this story. And so one day I'm sitting in the studio and shit just comes out of my mouth. I don't usually think. And so I'm sitting there and somebody says, Lucy Christian's in the hallway. And I said, Lucy Christian's my lesbian lover. I'd never even met her. And so, of course, Jen is producing the show, and he was like, bring Lucy in, and I'm like, no, wait, let me explain something. And so he was like, no, bring her in. Thank God they couldn't find her, because if they had found her, she would have been like, this girl is nuts. I will never speak to her. So, anyhow, a few months later, we ended up talking to each other, and we're on the phone the first time, and I told her the story, and she was like, please don't tell anyone that story ever again. And so I was like, okay. And so when we went to Tampa, I told it. But she was there, so I was like, listen, it's not like I lied. You're here. We're not talking behind your back or nothing. So she hates that I say, we were banned in a country, and she's like, why do you tell people that? I was like, because it's cool. It's cool to be banned from a country. I mean, people are banned from restaurants. We're banned from the whole freaking country. Come on.
Is it also Australia as well?
Is it really? I'm Googling that later. Australia too?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh God.
I guess.
I'm gonna have to Google that later. Okay. I've been banned in Australia. I really want to go to Australia. I think you get fined like $10,000 or something if you bring it in. It's really weird. So like it's just a cartoon. And Lucy was like, have you seen it? Well, not all of it. I can't watch it. My kids are there. Hello. So apparently there's a scene I haven't seen that's really bad, but whatever. Questions? I'm trying to think about, I have other stories.
Your favorite line?
My favorite, apparently I have an accent. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. So we were recording UFO Ultraman Valkyrie. And there's a part somewhere in there where I have to say pianist, and apparently I wasn't saying it right, and it sounded like penis, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, and he was like, say it again, and I was like, pianist, and he was like, you said penis again. No, you're thinking penis because I said nothing of the sort. So anyhow, sometimes my accent comes out and I sound a little more ethnic than usual, but I was like, listen, you hired a Mexican, what do you want? And I mean, I don't know that I have like a, well, hang on a second. Hang on a second. I like fireballing people. I think that's cool. I like, wait, there's one. It is a poemy one. I'll think about it in a little bit. I'll think of it in a little bit. There are some lines that I memorize that don't leave my head. And then there's some that are just gone because I'll never want to remember those things again. But no, I think as far as like favorite lines, probably the Lena Inverse lines because I like to fireball. When you say fireball, it releases so much tension from your head. It's like why can't I do that in traffic? Why? So yeah, I would have to say if I had to choose one, it would have to be hers. I mean, I have like emotional ones that I really like Voices of a Distant Star. I love the whole thing. Mm-hmm. I just love all of that. Even though I auditioned, oh wait, I got one. There we go again. Wait, we're gonna go back to Voices of a Distant Star first. So Voice of a Distant Star, when I auditioned for that one, it was so, who has seen that? Has anyone seen that one? So that's like the most amazingest love story for me ever. And when I auditioned for that one, it was Stephen Foster was doing it, and I don't know if he's ever been here, but he is quite very dramatic, and I love him to death because it doesn't matter what you do, it's always very dramatic, where he's like, oh, that was awesome, or he'll be like, oh my god, you suck. And I say I never leave the room without him calling me a bitch at least 500 times, so I'm okay with that now. I've come to terms with it, we've had therapy. But I auditioned for him, and I really wanted that part. I really wanted that part because I thought the whole storyline was beautiful, and I really wanted to voice something that was a little more on the emotional side. And so I think it was the last day of recording, and I had to record this part where she really wasn't thinking she was going to come back, and things were really kind of falling apart, and I had to be really emotional. And he kept saying, do it again, do it again, do it again. And after a certain amount of time, you're going, what do you want from me? Like, I'm agitated. We're not friends anymore. I'm deleting y'all from Facebook. Leave me alone. And he was just like, everybody get out of the room. And I'm thinking, all right, he's like, not you. And I'm thinking, fuck, damn, really? So he comes in the booth with me, and he's like, sit on the floor. And I'm thinking, dude, you can't hit me. I'm little but come on. So I sit down, and he like gets in my face, and he's like, what is it? You know, what have you been thinking about this whole time? You've had this great performance, and now you're just fucking it up for, that's what he said, fucking it up for me. And I was like, I don't know. So he totally was like, we're gonna get into this place, and we're gonna do this thing, and you're gonna cry. And I'm thinking, okay. So we sat there for maybe, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, and all of a sudden, when he'd hurt my feelings enough, he was like, everybody come back in here. And we did the line, and he loved it, and it was great. But, you know, there are times when you're going, holy shit, I suck. So, you know, you have those moments. What was I talking about? I was like, I forgot my point to the story.
Favorite lines.
Were we still on favorite lines?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you were about to remember something, but then went back to Voices
I
of
know,
a
I
Distant
remember
Star.
that. Okay, so, This Ugly Yet Beautiful World. Yes, that one.
Oh, yeah.
So when I auditioned for that, I thought she was so cute. And it was so funny because she went from like being really nice to then being evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we first meet her. And so Steven was like, this is going to be, Steven again. This is going to be difficult because you have to be like really sweet and then you have to be a total bitch. And I'm thinking, yeah, I got this. And so I did the audition, and he was like, oh my gosh, I think that's really cool that you did that. How did you go from being really nice to being really mean? And I was like, I have kids. You know, I don't know if y'all have kids, but I know y'all all have mothers. So, you know, sometimes, I don't do this. You know, when you're driving through the drive-thru and everybody's in the back yelling and screaming, and you're trying to order your food and everybody's yelling, and you're like, y'all need to shut up! Yes, I'm gonna have a number 2. And you have to switch because you can't yell at the person in the speaker. And so I was like, I'm a mom. I can go from like super mean to super nice in like 1.2 seconds. It's good. So that's how I got that part, which I thought was cool because then it was like, I can do this. It's me. Questions? Yes.
What'd you think on, like, this was probably something a little bit more, when Chris Ayers went to directing for Sentai Filmworks, and you were like a character in Book of Bantora, like, what was your opinion on the, like, the show and also your performance?
I love her. I, like, fell in love with her. Nolte.
Yeah.
You know, Book of Bantora is about a group of librarians who are assassins, which I thought was cool. And Nolte does not want to hurt anyone, which is totally unlike me. I'm a mother. So Nolte has like this great heart, and she feels like she can change anyone. You know, all you have to do is touch their heart. And so Chris was like, you know, we saw this character, and he says everybody was like, you have to pick Cynthia for this. So I was excited about it. And then when I actually met her, I say me, you know, when I met her, I thought, holy cow, she is freaking awesome. I mean, I love that whole show. I love the idea of it. I love just all of it. And you know, I don't know how mainstream it went. I don't know how big it went, but I really, when that one came to me, when I voiced her, I really connected with her. So I mean, I love that.
Well, I don't know about the mainstream part, but people like the dub for it, like as from like A&M reviews and other stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, and I don't know. I don't know. I try not to Google so much because I do, and then my feelings get hurt, and then I want to be like, why do I? Why? What happened? Yeah, you know, I kind of wondered about that. I mean, I had a couple of people bring stuff from Book of Bantora today, and I thought that was really cool because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I kind of left my Blu-ray in the car though.
where's your car? No, it's a really good show. You know, it's a really good series, and you know, I actually got to survive for most of it. And you know, then of course Chris was like, "Oh, honey, I forgot to tell you, you're gonna die." And I was like, "Oh, what? Why?" And he was like, "It's gonna be okay." I'm thinking, really? But you know, there are some characters that I completely fall in love with, and that you know, they just stay with you, and she was definitely one of them. She was definitely so. Yes.
You've done both comedic and dramatic roles. Which do you prefer?
So I really like to play mean people, but no one ever picks me for that because I sound like this. I think that I do like the dramatic roles probably a little better, but only because I don't get chosen for them as much. You know, I think that we have different people that can change up their voices a lot, and I can't do that very well. Like I said, I mean, I fell into this, I got lucky. So because I say I was given this voice, I don't have to work at it. So they pick me for more comedic stuff, which is fine, I love it, but I do like when I get that off chance of, hey, I get to do something dramatic, or I get to be a mean person, you know? I mean, I do like to do those things just because I don't get them as often. So, yeah, I'd have to say dramatic, mean. I would love to be like the evil person in the whole show. Just mean. But it won't happen. I sound like this. Yes. Were you gonna brush your hair or you gonna ask me a question?
No,
Oh, I'm sorry. Questions. I'm trying to think about yes.
Valkyrie, the Valkyrie show. How did you feel about that one?
So I really liked except for when I had to sing on that bus.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm a vocalist, and Kyle was like, you have to sing on the bus, and I was like, oh, okay, I can do that, and he was like, oh, wait, you have to sing bad. And I was like, I have to do what? He was like, you have to, like, really suck really bad. So I was like, okay. It was really painful to do it. I mean, I liked my character until she got on that stupid bus and thought she could sing. And then she's like, da, 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 da. And I'm thinking, what the crap is, oh, Lord, help me, God. I don't know if I can do this. You know, there were some uncomfortable moments in that, showering together, bathing together. I was like, oh, I learn a lot, you know, from these things. But, I think that was my most uncomfortable moment, is singing on that bus. But I liked it. It was a cool show. I'm trying to think, which was the other one that was really bad? Oh, fudge-tasticness. Did anybody see Kino's Journey?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
You was a motorcycle.
I was a motorcycle. I'm not saying that. I was a motorcycle for you. So when I auditioned for Kino's Journey, I was originally not cast for the motorcycle. I was cast for some girl that was gonna kill herself or something. I don't know. And so I went in, I auditioned, I got the part. Whatever, a few weeks passed, I voiced her, came back, and Kyle calls and he was like, hey, so, you know, we chose someone to be the motorcycle and it didn't work out, so would you mind coming in and doing the voice for the motorcycle? In my head, like, you don't say this out loud, in my head I'm thinking, what the fuck does a motorcycle sound like? Sure, I'll do it! So, you know, I go in and I'm thinking, they already kicked one person out. I don't want to be kicked out. That would hurt my feelings. And so he was like, let's just go through different sounds. Okay, I revert back to my little kid stage when you're going, vroom. What? That's what a motorcycle sounds like. That didn't work. So I kept like trying to think of what, you know, so he was like, just listen to the motorcycle and then do that. And so I was like, okay. You know, so I started listening, and all of a sudden I came up with that kind of sounding like gravelly sound, you know, where he's like, okay, you know, he's kind of talking that way. And then later on, once I recorded it, somebody said, you sound like Marge Simpson with a cold. And I'm thinking, really? I could be on The Simpsons? That would be awesome. So yeah, that's how that came about. I mean, I was excited that they didn't kick me out too, because I thought, man, that's just not gonna work. What kind of motorcycle talks? I would run if a motorcycle started talking to me. But you know, sometimes you just get lucky and it works. Whatever dumb things you think in your head, and you're going, that really worked. Wow. So that's kind of what happened with Kino's journey, and I still, you know, that was a really great show too. So I enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I got to play a bigger role as opposed to just that girl that killed herself, because that was quick. So yeah, I didn't want to do that. Let's see, what else was there? Can y'all think of anything else? I mean, I know we have this Excel panel tomorrow. That's going to be interesting because Jessica is going to be here and Rob will be here. And so I think this is funny because, you know, Jessica is Excel. She is Excel. And so I'm always like, she's Excel, and I'm like, I want it to be Excel. Because I'm Excel Kobayashi. I just wanted to. I like copy her. So she IM'd me, and we've never met. We've never personally met. And so she IM'd me, and she was like, hey, I was thinking, do you want to do this Excel Saga, you know, panel, since we're both going to be there? And I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And then I was like, wait, so I just wanted to be you. Okay. So I think it's going to be an interesting panel, just because, one, Excel is crazy, and two, I want to try to play off of her, and we'll see how all of that goes. And Rob will be there too, so it'll be cool. So you guys need to come out to that. I don't even know what time it is tomorrow, 1 or something. What is it? Is it 1? Oh, I memorized something right. Okay. Anything else? I'm trying to think of it. Yes. Wait, let me get him real quick first.
What's the biggest challenge you faced with like getting into a role?
Biggest challenge I faced. I know I have one. You know, usually when you get cast for something, they don't tell you who you are. They call you and say, we need you for this many hours. And then you walk in and they're like, this is who you are. And you're thinking, okay, real quick, let me figure this out. Geez, I do have a couple of challenges because, yeah, going back to Poemi, watching the Japanese version of that, and seeing how crazy it was, and knowing this is gonna be a pretty big show. That it stressed me out a little bit because, you know, you don't want to go into a show when you know that people are gonna love it and screw it up, you know. So she was a challenge for me. But okay, my biggest stress show was Slayer's Premium. I don't know if y'all saw that one, but Slayer's Premium was one of my biggest challenges because I didn't play Lena Inverse in the Slayer's TV series, and Slayer's Premium was based on the TV series. So Lisa Ortiz had voiced Lena Inverse for the series, and there was this thing online, there was this petition where it's like, who do y'all want to voice Lena Inverse in Slayer's Premium? And of course she was winning because that's her voice, that's what she did. And like, I'm watching this thing and I was like, oh my god, please don't pick me. And so the producer called me, and she was a really good friend of mine, and she was like, hey Cynthia, so we're gonna start recording Slayer's Premium, and I thought she's gonna say to me, you know, we're gonna bring Lisa Ortiz down, whatever. And I was like, hey, yeah, I'm good with that. And she said, and you're gonna have to voice her. I was like, oh no, there's a petition online doing it. And she was like, well, we can't bring Lisa down, so you're just gonna have to voice it. And Sandra Crassa was the producer on that. I'm 5'1". Sandra's like 6 feet tall. she's like scared, and she's mean. So I mean, we're really good friends, so I can say that. But you know, I was like, Sandra, I can't do this. Like, people are gonna be mean. They're not gonna like me very much. Please don't make me do it. And then she was like, suck it up, Sin. You're doing it. Get over it. And I was like, oh. So she actually set up a dinner for Kristen Freeman and I to get together, and I know that he was like, holy shit, she is nuts. But you know, we got together and we were able to record that, but I think that kind of stressed me out quite a bit because I wanted to be what the fans wanted, but I also understood that my voice was like this much higher than Lisa's, and you know, it did make me nervous because I was like, this is what the fans want. They want her to sound a little more toned down, and the only way I can do that is by drinking whiskey all night, and then I can't read. So I had to make a choice.
Did you talk to Lisa eventually?
I didn't. No, I've never met her. I've never spoken to her, but I've heard, you know, I did go back and listen to how she voiced her just to try to see if I could do that. I can't do that. You know, I did what I thought was best, but even by that point, I think that I was so in love with Lena, like with the character, and it was just hard to, you know, see what Lisa had done, see what I had done, and you know, my voice was just so much higher. So I tried to do what I could, and then when the commentary came on, I was like, oh, screw it, I'm just gonna enjoy it and, you know, do whatever comes next. But it you know, it can be trying. I mean, I don't know about other voice actors, I don't know, but I know that for me, I want to give the people what, you know, I want to give you guys whatever it is that you're looking for, and so sometimes I screw that up because I don't know. You know, I follow directions and then I don't. I'm not very good at following directions. But that was one of the ones where I really knew that this was a character that people loved and that I needed to do her justice, and, you know, it made me nervous.